There is a feature in After Effects called the cartoon effect that gives you the ability to take your footage and turn it into something that looks like it's animated or rotoscoped. Now I have two screenshots from a movie starring Keanu Reeves called A Scanner Darkly, and as you can see, this is rotoscoped and it looks quite amazing actually, especially this shot. And look at the detail in there. So this took forever for them to do, I'm pretty sure. We also have some shots from the Charles Schwab financial commercials where they had rotoscoped people, and as you can see, it looks very cartoony. All right, so I'm going to head back to After Effects, and I'll show you where this effect is located. Now, by the way, I have a work files folder for you guys, and inside of that folder are a couple of things that you can use to follow along with this particular lesson and the one following, which is the puppet tool. And for this one, you'll find my kitten, which is now a cat. Her name is Everest, and there's a folder called Everest, and you can find this clip of her when she was, what, maybe 7 months old? I know, you're going, "Aw, I know. She's like 2 years old now," or something like that. And in another folder, you'll find one called Abe, and that has a caricature I did of the billionaire Abe Hirschfeld, who I used to work for back in the day. Awesome dude. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. If you want to follow along, just go ahead and find the work files folder, and then simply double click in this area or go to File and choose Import File. Navigate to that work files folder, find the Everest folder, and then bring in everest.mov, which is a QuickTime movie. All right, once you've done that, what I'd like you to direct your attention to is the Effects and Presets panel. Now, if you don't see this, simply go to Workspace Standard and click on Standard. You can also choose Reset Standard if you want to. And if you don't see it still, go to Window and choose Effects and Presets, and it should show up in your workspace somewhere. Now, the beautiful thing about the Effects and Presets panel is that we don't have to twirl open all these guys here and simply move our mouse down and try to find what it is we're looking for. So to find the cartoon effect, all we need to do is start typing. So I'll go ahead and type in CAR, and I've already narrowed it down quite a bit. I'll type cartoon, and there it is. Stylized cartoon. To use it, simply drag it right on top of your footage, like so. And right away, you can see that there's a black line applied to it. And the inside of the character, or the cat or kitten, now has a more posterized feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and scrub this, and you'll see that it's very fast. Now she looks like a little bit of a cartoon character. Well, in reality, she is a character. All right, so what do we have here? Well, in the cartoon effect, we have our effects controls that show up, and we have quite a few things in here that we can manipulate. We're going to talk about the fill and edge and all of the other options in the next part. But for now, let's talk about what we're looking at. All right, so for now, we're looking at the edge, which is the black line that goes around the parts of your character. And as you can see here on this table, the black line follows the leg of this table. The fill color is the color that it sees and posterizes. So this is the floor and this is the carpet, all given a fill color that makes everything look more cartoony. And look at the planter back here, or vase, or whatever you call that thing. All right, so we see that it looks very nice and cartoony. But with the default settings, you can already see that we need to do a little bit of work. All right, so what we can do is we can start to work with the detail radius and the detail threshold. So let me go ahead and get her up close real fast. And let's go ahead and apply some of these. And when you twirl these open, you see that we have the ability to either use the text here, the hot text, and we can scrub, or we can twirl these open and use the sliders. So either way, whatever you want to do to control that, you can use the detail radius and the detail threshold. So when I put both of these guys all the way at the end, you see that we don't have much of effect. And I go ahead and put them all the way to the other end, and you'll notice that everything gets really blurry and almost look like a painting. So what we can do is take our time and determine how we want to affect the particular footage we're dealing with. As you can see, we have a radius which determines the amount of space or room to apply the effect, and the threshold, which determines when that effect is applied. So I'll go ahead and bump the radius up, and I'll go ahead and increase the threshold, and you can see that when we change these sliders here, we're able to determine when the black line kicks in and when it's overpowered by the fill. And you can take your time and you can just really manipulate these two sliders until you get the look that you want. Now it's going to look different on different things. Because she's an animal, we have a lot of fur, so we're not going to get a whole bunch of crisp details as we would with probably a person where we don't have so much detail. So once again, you just have to play around with these sliders. Now you will notice something very interesting about these sliders. Like many things in After Effects, you'll see a little stopwatch here. Now, although I'm not going to talk about animation in this quick start, when you see a little stopwatch here, this tells you that this is a property that can actually be animated over time. So we can start our footage out with a live action cat and slowly but surely turn her into a cartoon, which is really, really cool. Also, one thing I want to share with you is that while you're experimenting with your footage, sometimes you just want to deal with the footage and not see the special effects. So what you could do is twirl open the layer where you have your animation or your footage, and you'll see that we have an effects category. Twirl that open, and you see the name of the effect that you have applied. So if you have more than one, you'll see them down here. But currently I have cartoon here. So click on the FX here under the eyeball, and you will turn that off temporarily without getting rid of it. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Next, let's talk about how we can really refine this and use the fill and edge controls.